All right, part three. So, my cousin and I, and it's funny, some of you guys won't even hear my story. You won't even see why I have such a zeal for Jesus. You won't even see why I have such a zeal for God. You won't even see why, when I sat down to commit to studying the Bible, I get stuck on one verse. I can't get off a verse. I've been stuck on a verse for like 3 days because God just keeps feeding me so much about a verse. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to study the Bible. And you blasting through the Bible, or you got somebody else telling you how to study the Bible, understand you're limiting your study to what they're telling you to pay attention to. That's why God told me to study the Bible the first time by myself. So I can look for what stuck out to me, not what somebody else told me to pay attention to. Understand that we live a life of people telling us to pay attention to things. We get to decide if we're going to pay attention to that which they tell us to pay attention to, which actually is a distraction. Or are we going to pay attention? Understand, when I tell you guys to do things, I don't tell you what to do. I'm going to start doing that because that's what you guys are used to. I'm going to have to start giving you steps because some of you still watch my video and they say, you're not teaching me anything. Why am I not teaching you anything? If you knew how to sit in a lecture. But the unfortunate thing is they don't start lecturing you guys until college. My sixth grader was like, Miss Taylor, are you gonna lecture us again? And I took it as a yes, I'm going to lecture you again. Because it also reminds me of when one of my high school students were like, it's like sitting in a college lecture. So I'm teaching my students about life while I'm intertwining curriculum, but understand that you guys, if you did not go to university, and depending on the type of university you went to, because I don't remember a teacher lecturing me. I just remember them disseminating information and we having to regurgitate information. So, depending on which level, I went to the University of Phoenix and I went to Arizona State University, but east. So, I didn't go to the main campus. I've never experienced a main campus experience where an instructor is really, they've lived their field. They're not just someone who went and got a degree, but they've lived their field. And the knowledge seeking student is able to sit in a lecture. That's why a master class is why they call it a master class, because it's so beautiful. Because if, and I don't care about your biases, because they roped our greats into such a snare that in order for them to be recognized at the level that they deserve to be recognized, because understand, we don't pay attention to anything until someone tells you to pay attention to. I've been here since 2013. I have been documented out here since 2013. Some of you guys known me from 2008 because I've been out here documented since 2008. So some of you know me from before because I've been trying to be known, I've been trying to be seen. But some of you won't pay attention to me until somebody tells you to pay attention to them. But they've taken all of our greats and they've tore them down. So I'm gonna say names, you're gonna be like, nope, I wouldn't want to be like them. But understand, these are people who mastered their craft. And if you could get over your bias, I'm not gonna say that because I'm cleaning up my act. But understand, if you can overcome your bias, you can learn something from a Jay-Z. You can learn something from a Beyonce. You can learn something from an Oprah. You can learn something from a Diddy. You can learn something from all of the people at the top of their craft and the people that they took advantage of. You can learn from the people that got taken advantage of, but we're not learning from the top or the bottom. That's why there's the next generation of someone to be taken advantage of, but there's some of them who are able to leverage that taken advantage of and get themselves to the top. And yes, they still have to take advantage of you in order to stay at the top. Because if they stop taking advantage of you, they fall. So the system is the system. You can't fight the system, but you can't say that the system wouldn't teach you if you had an opportunity to sit down and listen to a Tyler Perry. Understand, I'm still coming before you today because I listened to a Tyler Perry. Every time I get not distracted, every time I get discouraged, I remember it took Tyler Perry 7 years before it happened for him. So I'm still here delivering these messages to the day that you guys pay me attention. And hopefully it's before someone told you to.